Well, hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of VFX and Chill, the show where we break apart visual effects and or people in visual effects. We break them apart, we see what's inside, and then we try to put them back together again. That might be our tagline. I am one of the people in the title. I'm Seth Worley. With me today, as always, is Daniel Hashi Hashimoto. Hashi, how are you, buddy?
Hey, I'm doing very well. Just, excited about the cold weather that has just arrived here in Canada, and that's pretty nice. So,
oh, that's nice. We have slightly cool weather here in Nashville. Speaking of slightly cool, we have someone extremely cool with us today. It is the answer to the riddle that was posed today on the opening, whatever you call it. Look.
Here, I'll do a, yeah, here we are. And ba-boom.
It's Doug Appleton,
Hi.
our friend from Perception. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. How are you guys?
So good, man. We love having you on the show. You are kind of the honorary third host. Sorry, we didn't offer you this. We didn't give you an option. You are now the third host of VFX and Chill.
It's like that's how most of my life has gone. Is just feel you're doing this now. Okay.
And you know what? Now that all three of us are talking here, I would love to know if our levels are decent this time around. I heard that our levels are sometimes not, and today I'm in charge. So please.
So let's sing Happy Birthday together, okay? Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Happy birthday to you. Doug Appleton. It's not his birthday.
Happy birthday.
But even more importantly, just let us know. Hashi too quiet or Seth too loud or
Hashi was not
going to
let us go the full
like
song. I feel like we should have been allowed to go the full song, but that's okay.
I don't know. Would YouTube have? They would have shut down the stream again. I think we're 2 for 2 on streams getting shut down.
Yeah, I picked one of the most copyrighted songs in the history for us to sing.
Amazing. Well, let's see. I am trying to find. Whoops. I'm trying to keep an eye on the chat here, but I don't know where I've docked it. Oh, there it is. Hi, everybody in the chat. Now I can see you. And the reason that I'm looking at the chat today is because we are missing one of the very important members of our team because they are away at Camp MoGraph. I'm, of course, talking about Michael Zalapsky. And let's check in on Michael now. Michael? Oh, that's cute. Oh,
hey, Michael.
He looks a little wistful, or just he's just enjoying.
Looks like he's having a blast.
What is
oh my God,
DJ from iDesign.com, and today we're going to be talking about how you can get better at lighting, how to improve your lighting.
Excellent. Well, that looks like a lot of fun. Okay. Well, also, John Lepore, friend of the show, is also at Camp MoGraph. So hello to anybody at Camp MoGraph who's watching this instead of enjoying the scenery and friends in person around them.
Yeah, what are they doing?
Yeah. No, this better be like a panel live. Like, think of how easy that would have been. You just,
Right? It's really fun, the idea of a bunch
prop open a laptop.
I love the idea of a bunch of motion designers all spending time together in the outdoors. Like, we have to go together into the outdoors.
Right, and we can't go alone.
No, because we would die.
But we would have lots of layers and lots of mosquito spray, I'm sure. It is what would arrive there. Well, Doug, we are excited to have you here. We had our summer break, and Doug was rearing to get on the show right as we were about to go on break. And so this is the soonest we could...
Doug begged us. Doug came to us and said, please.
Like, I need this.
Guys.
I did. You guys should... please don't send the text chains or anything, because that would be very
It's all right. Like, that was, we won't...
It's weird that you could read weeping in a text so prominently, so clearly.
Yeah. It's really about the camel case where you get sort of the fluctuations in my voice.
It is.
Yeah.
Well,
no, we begged Doug to come on this show, and he's so kind to come on.
The last time you were here, you recreated some Total Recall titles, I think, which was really amazing. And we teased just barely the idea that you had just done some titles for another movie that was out. Doug, do you want to tell us about the initial movie that we're going to talk about today?
Yeah, I believe that's Lightyear. Right? We didn't talk about that last time. Lightyear, Buzz Lightyear. Hey, he got a movie.
All right, so let me bring that up so everyone can take a look.
Looks so good, man.
It's funny. We spent 6 months working on this. Pixar took care of the visuals. We were just the type.
Got it. So
you just did the type. Great.
So
it's
could
so
you?
Good.
Were you able to refer to the animated bits to sync them up, or did you have any control over that?
Yeah. So they were incredibly collaborative, and they would get us previs, everything that we needed, so that we could make sure that our type kind of lined up with what they were doing.
That's
because
cool.
our first round, the type was kind of like over buzz a little bit, and they're like, "No, more to the left, more to the right," and eventually, we're like, "Oh, we'll just send you the stuff," and from there, it was
fans definitely buzzing about this wagon wheel table, like hinting at a potential, Woody.
I'm actually glad you picked that up. A lot of people haven't brought that up. The wagon wheel table is definitely.
Wagon Wheel Gang is out here on Reddit, so that's not. I can't claim it good. Well, this is obviously.
Okay, I didn't know about this joke. This made my day. But Doug, you responded to that so well. I have to know. Did you guys actually plan this joke? Because it's brilliant.
This was a very late addition to the show, but
it's a very natural yes and baby.
All right, so now we're going to show a healthy, non-copyright violating amount of the actual work that you did for this amazing show right here.
2 seconds worth.
So
how much can we show?
So I'm going to just pause it every so often.
We're playing chicken right now.
So
there you go.
So there we go. So this is awesome. First of all,
I love it.
Thank you. This was so exciting to work on. I mean, you guys can see this Buzz Lightyear is not up here because I worked on this. I know you can see my tiny window. This Buzz Lightyear is a Buzz Lightyear I've had for, 20 plus years, right?
Oh, man.
There you go.
I got 2.
Yeah. I actually have 2. One of them is in pieces because I was going to paint it, and then I got busy and didn't. So.
Oh, that's a bummer.
It's sitting in a desk all broken up somewhere like Sid's garage. But
that's incredible.
These titles were actually my favorite part of the movie. I'm always a sucker for like the macro lens, like up close shots of tiny things for titles. But I love the way you guys like chose the like laser engraving like thing on the side of it with the little elements too. It's really cool.
Yeah,
really
that whole thing came from our first meeting with Angus, the director, and Galen, the producer. We were talking about like what was the tone of the movie, and we hadn't seen anything up to that point. And Angus kept talking about late 80s, early 90s sci-fi that he was really into, and some like early 80s stuff. Yeah. And one of the references we kept going back to was the first teaser trailer for Terminator 2. Was a huge reference for that. And I don't know if you guys remember that. But it is just building the exoskeleton, right, of the T-800.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
There was not laser etching that was in that, but there's like a laser scanning thing that goes on. And, as we're talking about it, like, oh, how can we get that feeling into the titles for this? And this is kind of our, modern Pixar version of that T2 teaser trailer.
That's so great.
Really cool. And I love the detail in the smoke because you have the atmospheric and you've got the wisps of smoke being sliced by a beam, which is
what's in the beam. Are you actually beaming like it looks like it's not just solid. It looks like it actually has the vector elements in it.
Yeah, so the beam is made up of like 4 different lights, I think. 4 or 5 different lights. One light has a smoky texture on it, just an image sequence of a smoky texture. And what we found was if that image sequence is moving fast enough, it kind of feels like it's moving through the smoke.
Great idea.
We played around with actually having volumes and putting light through it. It just got really heavy. And, while it was more accurate, the payoff wasn't really there for the time spent to like render the volume. So, we ended up doing just an image texture on there. But I think the big thing that we did was, getting it to feel like it's actually etching in the letters. We had rendered a few passes of the type itself, right, that gets etched on. But one of the passes we rendered was a sliver out of After Effects, like a 3-pixel, 4-pixel wide sliver out of After Effects. And that's being projected through one of the lights and that lines up with the timing of the beam moving and the light coming on. So, you tie them together and you get that beam actually etching into the thing. We have sparks and hot edges and stuff. So it all kind of, it's like 4 or 5 different layers just for that laser.
Just pulling
That's
up
so cool.
some stuff that is available on the Perception YouTube channel, which is, this looks like, this is the camera test to get placement and everything approved first?
Yeah, so these were early camera tests. One thing that was important to Angus, that he didn't want it to feel like a traditional motion graphics piece where like flying through like the trench run to get to all these little things. Like, you wanted to feel like, oh, we could actually put a camera there and shoot these things.
I liked that you could sort of make sense of how big the object is and about how much you could see of it. Because, yeah, you can easily get lost in a techno world of weird stuff.
Yeah, so we spent a lot of time like, well, if we had to shoot this practically, like what are we limited to with like a motion control rig? Like, what are the moves we could do? And so there's a lot of time working on that stuff to make it feel like you could actually, shoot this stuff. So we did a ton of tests, and we eventually like landed on what it was interesting. It was not just the camera moves, but what areas did we want to show, right? Like, what's a cool part of Buzz's suit or the cockpit of the ship, or one of the Eric robots or whatever it was. So finding those places and then finding how can we move cameras around there to get something that's, visually satisfying.
That is really cool. Did you just have the models inside, inside your little window and move them around, or did you attempt any kind of? This is the kind of thing I could imagine it would be really fun to find angles if you had a virtual camera or something like that.
Yeah, we didn't have a virtual camera. We just had the models that, it'd be one of those things like, hey, don't worry about materials or anything, just grayscale models. Let's throw cameras in there and find cool parts of the suit. We were playing with things like going inside the rim of the helmet and stuff like that. And eventually, as we worked, like, oh, that doesn't really make sense, because if we were going to put a camera there, we couldn't put a camera inside the rim of the helmet. So let's do outside the helmet, things like that. But yeah, it was just finding these interesting areas. And these are the models from Pixar. Like, that's awesome. They were great enough to be like, here's the production model for these things. And so
don't drop it.
We would find things where there'd be like a hatch, and it would be its own object. Like, what's inside that hatch? We delete it. Oh, there's wires and pipes inside this hatch. We're like, why are there wires and pipes inside this hatch, guys?
Oh my gosh.
But like Pixar, maybe there's one shot that needs wires and pipes. So like they have all that stuff in the models, and it was so incredibly detailed and fun to play with it and be like, where's this button go? And like, there's bolts that are attached to the button. You're like, of course there's bolts attached to the button. Why wouldn't there be?
That's crazy.
That is amazing.
It was really cool to get to play with that stuff.
You guys are really good at we've talked about this before on previous episodes, but you're based on what you like told me about like your process, you're really good at something I'm not good at, which is patience. Meaning like let's just work with just the model, let's not worry about textures, and let's find just cool shots of the geometry. Whereas I'm like, it has to look final right now. Like it doesn't look good until it's absolutely fully textured and rendered, and we have the flares and the color grade and everything, and then people can look at it. But you guys are really good at being like, let's try this as fast as we can and get approval on it, and then move to the next stage, which is actually, I think is really impressive.
I think with this, we're fortunate enough that it's Pixar. So if we show Pixar a wireframe, they're like, oh yeah, we know that's going to look better when it's done, right? So there's that part of it, but we always try when we talk to our clients to set them up for that. But like, this is not for lighting or rendering or anything like that. This is just for camera placement. And then you'll always get a note from some person like, but is the model going to be gray? And like, no, it's not going to be gray. We're gonna texture it. But it was important for us because, particularly for this, one of my big concerns with this is we need to live up to the 2 hours of Pixar's beautiful renders leading up to our 2 minutes of beautiful renders. And so we didn't want to spend our time getting everything to look beautiful and then find the tiny little square inch that we're going to put a piece of type on. So we wanted to make sure we found the areas first so that we can put all of our effort into like this joystick. Let's put all the detail on this one joystick. The rest of it can be garbage, right? Or in the background, it's all out of focus, so we don't need to put as much focus on that. And so we could really dial in where we're putting our energy.
That's great. We had a question in the chat. How many typefaces did you go through? I'm assuming this is Euro style, or is this something similar?
I believe this is Euro style.
Which I love because that's like the sci-fi font.
Because the question is really like, how far did you wander away from Euro style before someone was like, is Euro style cool with everyone?
Yeah, I forget if this one is Euro style or Bank Gothic, but it's the sci-fi. Typeface, right? And that was important because, again, Angus is talking about, these movies that he grew up with and the sci-fi movies that he loved, and like Euro style is the typeface, right? I think they use it all over the movie itself. So, wanted to be in line with that, wanted to kind of harken back to the sci-fi movies of, the 80s.
Fun fact that only a small group of people in 2012 will give a crap about, but graphics art director Paul Conrad on this movie, whose name went by a little bit ago, was the production designer on several Red Giant shorts that we made early in the 2010s, including Tempo, which he designed the titles for, which were all in Euro style as well. So it's true, you can't make a sci-fi film without Euro style, and it's best done with Paul Conrad.
So he did some Red Giant shorts and then went to Pixar?
Yeah, man, he was in Nashville for a long time.
It's that pipeline. It's that
all downhill. It's the pipeline. It's taking longer with me. I'm a larger man. It's harder to get through those pipes.
That's cool. Yeah, I mean, Euro style is. We try not to use it all the time, right? Because it has a very specific look and feel and time. But like this was the perfect place for it.
And how much are you? I mean, the whole movie had to couch itself in sort of a weird spot where it's meant to be a movie. I don't want to ignite this argument again, but it's, it's meant to be a movie that came out in like the 1990s, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so
1995, something like that.
And which would make plenty of sense for Euro style, like, being up front, but also like, the slick look and the amazing depth of field you have going on there is just really cool and very heightened.
Now, I know we have plans for today's show, but Doug, I'm curious what you would have done if the direction for this movie had been, we're going to make this look like it came out in the 90s as well. Like, what would you guys have pitched then for the end titles if that were the case?
Yeah, I don't think it would be this. It would be something probably closer to, Total Recall or something like that. It would be slow burn type over some kind of imagery that you can't really place. Maybe it's over the suit. We did look at.
I think they'd also just discovered like fractal noise back in '95, like in movie graphics.
Right.
We were, that's where everything had like super huge glow, like hot glow with like the crunchiest fractal noise going on with it as well.
Yeah, and one great reference for this was also, I believe the Stargate title sequence was type not on suits but on objects. I think I'm trying to remember it now. I'm gonna look this up. But for the movie, not for the TV show.
Yeah.
But they had slow pans over the maybe it was over the suit, over the helmet, but it does kind of get to kind of what I'm saying. Like this sequence would have been a lot slower.
Before I did, yeah.
I think it's the opening credits is what I'm thinking of.
Yeah. The Hashi's got it up.
Okay.
I don't.
Oh yeah, this kind of cool
right.
model up close exploration feel.
Yeah, so we tried to be kind of close to I think Stargate was in the what was that, like 90s 90 something, 95 maybe?
Because it was Roland Emmerich. It was like
94.
94.
Oh, yeah.
So if that's the trend, then I feel like you would have been working with like Albertus or something, probably. Instead of your style.
Yeah. Maybe. I think Euro style. Well, this is this type because it's all, sort of like pseudo-Egyptian.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, I think we probably would have been close, but I think the sequence would have been a lot slower, right? Ours has a lot of energy. It's very, very punchy. The movie ends with them like flying off to space. Spoilers, they fly off to space at the end of the movie.
Whoa.
Yeah, who? And so it probably would have been, sort of been a lot slower, I think. Or I would have just found an excuse to do Total Recall.
I like that.
Yeah.
See, it's a mix between Total Recall, and it's like Total Recall in 3D on top of the Stargate credits. Beautiful.
Yeah.
That's the prompt for today.
Now, also just to mention how cool it is that we have Doug here. Like Perception, we've talked a lot about them doing all the crazy Marvel titles that you can possibly imagine, including one that came out not too long ago, which is this guy.
Woo!
Thor: Love and Thunder.
I just saw this the
Thor:
other day.
Love and Thunder, which I love when you get to play in this, Ragnarokish.
Yeah.
Universe.
Talk about typefaces.
I have many questions for you, Doug.
Yeah.
Starting with type. How many fonts are in this at the end, and what motivated each one?
So let's see, how many there's probably 34, 35 title cards, so that would be 34 or 35 different typefaces.
They're different each time. They don't cycle at all, do they?
I don't believe there's any that repeat. I'd have to double check, but
Where did that decision come from?
That decision came from one of our early pitches for this was just, hey, wouldn't it be cool if it was just like band logo kind of typeface things? And then, that kind of got mulled around a little bit, and it ended up evolving into this like Bifrost rock concert, right? We were looking at like laser light shows and things like that. And so it's kind of how we wound up there. But it's because it's just type and that's all it is. If it was the same typeface for every single one of those, it would get very boring.
Yeah.
So it was pretty early on. We're like, yeah, everyone's going to get their own typeface, which sounds super fun in the beginning. And then when you're on like the 20th iteration of one name, because for whatever reason, someone didn't like their name, or like, oh, his name's cooler than mine. Like, all right, well, we'll give you his, and now let's make a new one for that one.
And then you were like, have all these that are no longer usable, and some of them might look really, really great, and you get attached to them, and you can only use them once. Oh man.
Yeah. So there's some in there that we loved that, for one reason or another, someone didn't like it, and so we ended up not using it. But we have so many that we went through, and then we'd also run into, initially looking at bands and trying to mimic band logos, but not being exactly the band logo.
Yeah.
But then a whole legal thing of like, well, that R is too close to Poison, so you have to change the R. And like,
too close to
all right,
Poison.
Let's change the R. And,
I hope that's your Twitter bio now.
Too close to Poison.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
It is now.
How'd you do these killer backgrounds?
Yeah, so these backgrounds are objects in a cloner that are just flying by, and we blurred the hell out of them.
Oh, wow, they're objects.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's all geometry in cinema, because this is something that we were doing. We knew it was going to be in stereo, so we wanted to have depth in these.
Oh, that's a great call.
It's all just stretched spheres, basically. Maybe they're cylinders. I don't recall. They might be cylinders, but just these stretched things in cinema that are moving through a cloner, and some of them are warped and bent. And then we blurred the hell out of them.
That probably looks really cool in stereo.
Yeah, I thought it was looking really cool. The unfortunate thing with stereo is that once it's out of the movie, no one will ever see it.
Yep.
Luckily, it's very easy to do and deal with at the time. It's like saying, yeah.
Yeah. It's as simple as saying, now put the right eye in there and hit render. Bing, bang, boom.
Check the R button.
And it's never that easy. There's always something with stereo. We ran into it a lot with Lightyear, which was also in stereo, where Pixar does their stereo a little differently than we're used to doing our stereo. Typically, we would do, and sorry for stereo talk if people don't care about stereo talk, but we would use parallel cameras typically. So their cameras are just straight forward.
So you're saying this here, right, though, is stereotype?
Yeah.
Sorry.
So
Michael's not here, so I can't. He would make the joke,
Pow.
and I would hate him for it. Sorry. Go ahead.
I was like, yeah, it's all on the geometry.
I know you took it
100%. Yes, it's all stereotype.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, we would use. No, I appreciate it. Listen, I appreciate a good dad.
I don't.
All right.
I don't.
I do. Keep them coming. But we would typically use parallel cameras and then dial in where our zero parallax is, so like where the screen is in comp. So we just take our renders and shift them right or left. Pixar likes to get all of that done in the render. So that means that we need to use, instead of a parallel camera, an off-axis camera, which is one is straightforward and then one kind of rotates. But what that means is that this one is seeing light differently than the other one. So you run into like reflections don't line up perfectly. And,
oh, wow.
But then if reflections don't line up perfectly, your stereo doesn't line up perfectly, and you run into kind of all these issues.
It's a very weird thing. And there are, I mean, the reason why there's a stereographer on movies like this is because, like, say those like little white glints on the very edge of the, I don't know what you'd call it, the little dial thingy there. Those really bright white spots. Those will look slightly different in each eye, and in some cases they'll disappear in one eye. And whenever that happens in stereo, it's weird to someone wearing glasses and seeing stereo. It's what would be happening in real life, but it looks very odd on the screen to have something that's there on one side and not on the other because it ghosts. And so sometimes you have to,
Yeah, so we would refer to that as rivalries, right? The left and right eye aren't matching. So there's a rivalry there.
Oh, that's so much more exciting than
it is.
Yeah, right? Sometimes there's
the most exciting word you could have given it.
Yeah. Sometimes there's an easy fix. Sometimes the easy fix is just brute force. All right, take the reflection from the left eye and comp it over on the right eye.
Ugh.
And like that's it. That's what you just end up doing. And so we do that a lot. I think in hindsight, what we ended up doing on some later ones is just render everything with like 50 pixels a pad and do parallel cameras and then adjust that depth in post. And then you don't run into that issue anymore. But your renders are a little bit longer because you have this pad, but you're saving time on not having to like dial in. And so there's a whole bunch of stuff that, it was interesting because we'd never done the off-axis cameras for one of these jobs before. It was always parallel, but then Pixar was like, no, we want to get it in the render and not dial it in post.
Well, speaking of dialing stuff in and dials, we here at VFX and Chill, especially when we have Doug come over to play, we love to be active. We want to teach you something and do some stuff with our hands and figure something out. So we're trying to play it a little bit loose today. We have several general ideas, and I think that we'll... I was going to go into it like we totally had a plan, but we love that Lightyear is, a weird prequel, kind of grittier and more serious or grown up than its source material. And we thought that it could be fun to try to figure out what we would do redesigning titles from old lovely classic movies and kiddish properties that we all grew up with. And Doug could probably give us some pointers on what make things gritty and sleek. And Seth, what you'd mentioned earlier was kind of exciting. The idea that these title designs would definitely be different in the 90s, the aughts, and today. So
yeah,
I think that I'm going to drag us into this comp here, which is our exciting wheel of the most kiddish properties that I could think of while very tired the other day. So
that was a prerequisite for the exercise, was that you'd be tired.
Yeah, so we've got a nice real wheel here, and we can all take turns if we'd like spinning this wheel, and might like to take on. Who would like to go first?
I think I will. I can make the sound. It's okay. Babe. My wife's gonna think I'm yelling at her. Oops. Because that's how I speak to my wife. All right, babe. Pig in the City, or Pig in the first movie, I assume.
I think so. Oh, I just realized that I might need to. Whoops! I think I need to bring us all in here.
Oh yeah.
Otherwise, other people are muted.
What happened to Doug?
Oh, Doug.
This is what I look like now.
You're doing a little.
Your birthmark is.
Yeah.
It's tracked to you. What's going on there?
Wow, I don't. That's fascinating.
That's cool.
All right, we're just going to do a little OBS shuffle here because I forgot that when you can't see one of us, you can't hear one of us. Because
so it was just me yelling. Great.
I didn't set it up the way that
that's what people tune in for. It's just Seth.
Beautiful. See, look at that beautiful configuration now.
There we go.
All right. So Seth, you can either stick with Babe, you can spin again, or just be inspired by that and do whatever you want.
I would actually like to spin again, if that's okay.
All right, here we go. I will not do the computer sound. I will let us make the sound effects. And here we go.
Perfect. Done. It's in the movie.
Awesome.
All right.
You already have 3 Teletubbies.
Yeah, I got them Teletubbies. I pull those off the shelf.
Yeah, right. I have these too. And here's my Teletubby spec script and
shirt.
Shirt.
Amazing. All right, Doug, I'm going to have you go next. We'll spin, and if you don't like what you get, you can spin again. Here we go.
This
and
that's the one I was hoping to get.
Ooh, that's pretty good.
All right. They've already done gritty reboots of the Powerpuff
They did.
Girls.
Did you work on the gritty reboot?
No, I haven't.
Now you are.
Now I am. Didn't they cancel the show?
They did, thankfully, because it didn't sound very great, but that's just me.
They didn't. I don't want Powerpuff Girls dealing with their trauma of being forced to be superheroes as children.
Ooh, it would just be Black Widow, but it's called the.
Yeah, right.
Let's see. Would you like another spin, Doug?
No, I'll take Powerpuff Girls.
All right, sounds good. And in that case, I'll go for a spin as well. The other option is I can wander off and not pay any attention to anything and just, use some AI to generate movie artwork for any of these properties once I see what you two are doing.
I think what Hashi means is that's what he's going to do.
That's what he wants to do.
I'm not good at... You all saw the thumbnail for this video. That took me 3 hours.
I loved that thumbnail.
You see the fonts on this wheel that are like shards of glass in Seth's brain? All right. I'll go ahead and give this a spin. And...
Love that you know me so well.
Let's see, what is it?
Oh, that's a good
Popeye.
one.
Okay.
Now, are you going to reference the Robert Altman spectacle of Popeye, which I remember as a kid renting and being so excited? Like, there's a live-action Popeye and being
This is going to be great.
Yeah. Have you seen the trailer for the Gendy Tartakovsky's Popeye?
Oh, no.
Oh, man. It is so good, and then Sony canceled it. Yeah, which is a bummer. But it looked really cool. We probably can't play it because it's going to, drop the feed.
Yeah,
but
it'll ruin us.
If you guys look that up, it's on YouTube, and it looks super cool. It was, I think, before he did Hotel Transylvania, and if you're familiar with him, it has, his style is just oozing from these.
Oh, it's like an action sequence, right? It's like a mini. It is wonderful. Look it up, everyone.
Yeah.
So let's to get into the space a little bit. Let's see. I've forgotten what everybody has. Doug, you have the Powerpuff Girls.
Powerpuff Girls.
You were going with
Teletubbies.
The Teletubbies, and I've got Popeye here. So I don't know much about the Teletubbies aside from what their name implies. Like they had different shapes, right, or something, and different colors.
So what's the deal? So here's the thing. Are we joking that this is a gritty reboot, or is this, or like a gritty adaptation, or is meaning it stars Gritty, the mascot.
But that's what I assumed.
Teletubbies with Gritty actually would be pretty great.
I think the idea is at least to reconceive what was likely a childish design. I'm hoping that most of these would have a childish.
Yeah, so I guess what I'm getting at is
poster design.
Is this like the DreamWorks animation version of Teletubbies, or is this the Marvel version of Teletubbies?
I feel like we've got to go Marvel. We've got
to
go exciting, that PG-13.
Yeah, this is the Teletubbies have been gone for 30 years, and they've come back.
Okay. Yeah.
What's it? What trauma are they dealing with now?
Mm-hmm.
Their television tubbies no longer work, and they're, I don't know, dealing with that, right? They have TVs on their stomachs. Was that their deal?
Is that their deal? I have no idea.
Okay.
I think isn't that what it was?
I think that's canon.
Maybe I never watched it, but well, they got these gray things on their.
I'm going to let you two discuss that for a second because I think I stole my wife's keys. I'm sorry, and I'll be right back. Talk amongst yourselves.
So wait, you got Powerpuff Girls. What's your plan, Doug?
So I'm gonna make, as I was saying, I don't want to watch the generational trauma with the Powerpuff Girls. Probably make a poster for the Powerpuff Girls, like if they were made now, the Powerpuff Women. I think we'll do that.
Powerpuff Ladies.
The Powerpuff Ladies. Yeah, I think we'll do that. Do a teaser poster for the Powerpuff Girls.
I'm all for it. So Teletubbies has this kind of puffy, slightly flower girly kind of font, like hippie kind of font to it that I think.
Yeah. Oh, my face is breaking again.
What is that? That's so.
I don't know.
confusing.
It's like I'm getting a live data mosh going on here.
It is, and it is fully tracked to you. That's the weirdest thing.
It is. Like, why? Like, if I disappear and came back.
Well, it's like a fake beard. It's like your beard. They're figuring out that your beard is rendering in real time for us.
This is where we reveal that I'm actually an AI, and this is that part of the movie. That would
make me feel a lot less intimidated by the sheer output of you and your team, but I'm fine.
Go AI.
Oh, he's AI. It's normal now.
That's it. AI is going to take over everything.
Knowing that Hashi made that thumbnail with AI, I'm like, do we have to work anymore, or can we just use Dolly for everything now?
Yeah, I know. Well, I think we mentioned John Lepore earlier. Good friend John Lepore, he's been doing a lot of great talking about AI and his thoughts of where that's going to take the industry. And I kind of agree with him that the best AI artwork is coming from people who know how to make the art. They know how to direct people. They know how to speak the language to get what they're looking for. Yeah. So I'm not too worried. We'll see. Maybe a year from now, and all you have to type in is gritty Powerpuff Girls, and it makes a whole movie for you, and then we don't have to do this anymore. Then I'll be nervous. But like right now, there still is, I think, a person needs to provide the right input to get the right results. And I don't see it. I see it as being helpful for brainstorming. I don't see it as going into a final product. But I say that now. Maybe one day it'll be the final thing.
Hashi, is that your audio that's like blaring up?
Oh, that might be my thing trying to
find you.
Trying to find me.
It went away now.
All good. Yeah, I think that was my creaking chair.
You just need to keep talking and never stop.
Perfect. I can do that. No problem.
Right.
I'll just keep this up. And how are we doing on the talk here? We talked about Teletubbies.
Yeah.
We started talking about AI.
Yeah.
Oh, I just watched
poetic.
AI with Sophia and James. A little early to see a reimagined Kubrick by late Spielberg.
I think any age is a little early for the trauma of AI. By the way, that is exactly what we were talking about with Steven Spielberg and Stanley Kubrick's
AI, very specifically.
Artificial intelligence. I love a title which tells you everything you need to know about what AI stands for.
It really does. And also, just bizarrely, something that is not great for, search engine optimization, because it's like, did you mean Al? Did you mean at?
Right. Yeah, I haven't seen that movie in a while, but it always made me sad, because I'm like, he's not going to be a real person. There's literally nothing he can do to be a real person. And then I guess there's magic at the end. I don't really remember.
What did they do? Well, what happens at the end is that he dies when he closes his eyes, because he doesn't close his the very, very end of the movie, post fantasy, whatever. And Spielberg talked about it being the part that Kubrick was very specific about. That fourth act was all storyboarded out and really important to the story. And I think the reason why it comes off as a little schmaltzy Spielberg-y is because the message of that section is supposed to be, we have created an artificial being so realistic that the only way to satisfy its dream is to immerse it in an artificial recreation of their life, which completes their circuit, or hit the whole desire of David, and then he dies, says Spielberg.
Well,
that's
so. Well, if you're just tuning in, welcome back to VFX and Chill.
We were definitely talking about.
We're talking about
the film,
questioning our own mortality, and
thank you all for bearing with me for running away for a second there. If you're just joining us at this particular moment, Doug Appleton, Seth, and I are taking some beloved children properties and want to reimagine them as
children properties. Sounds like something else.
I need to start grabbing some things for this. I forgot that I had a task to do.
Yeah, let's start doing it. So, so Seth is going to reimagine the Teletubbies as as some kind of a prequel rebooty situation. Doug has got the Powerpuff Girls, and I've got Popeye. So, first of all, would you stick with the name? I know that if we got Rocky and Bullwinkle, it feels like the movie would just be called Bullwinkle or something, because that's what you're going into.
Kick Rocky out,
and it's going to be Rocky's retired, and Bullwinkle is on a journey to find Rocky, and then you meet him, and he's like, "I got out of the hero game."
Yeah,
or whatever they did, right? They were.
It's kind of but not Alvin and Chipmunks. The
Rescue Rangers.
Rescue Rangers movie from Akiva Schaffer.
I enjoyed that. I thought that was fun.
Me too. Mainly just for Mr. Doubtfire and Batman versus E.T.
Yes.
Pretty fantastic.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty good. I also liked Ugly Sonic having a very prominent role in
yes, 100%.
in the movie. And that was one too. I was like, I wonder if my daughter would like this. I was like, no, this movie was made for me, not her.
It was, and I can confirm. Your children will just squint at the whole thing and say, was that a joke?
Yeah.
My kids, yes, that's exactly what my kids did, which was a bummer, because I was like, this is for the whole family. I don't have to tolerate this one. We can love this one. And it turns out it was just for me.
Always fun.
Yeah, and my daughter's going to be 4 next month, so she is still pretty young for this stuff. She can sit through movies, but a lot of times if there's too much talking, she'll be like, I don't like this part. I'm like, oh, okay, that's sure. We went to go see Lightyear we went to go see it in IMAX with her, and which was huge for me because that was the first movie that I worked on that I could take my daughter to. It's look, I did this, and she's young enough to not care, but old enough to know that I worked on it. So it's this weird area. I'm like, I did this, and she's like, okay. But then she's like, you worked on that? Like, yep. And then that's it. She doesn't care.
And they'll go home and watch Peppa Pig and say, did you work on that? And you'll say no. She'll be like, why not?
No, that happened. We watched Brave Little Toaster. She's like, did you work on this? I'm like, no, I didn't work on this. She goes, oh, all right. And I'm like, what? We watched the thing I worked on.
At least it's you're involved in the things. My kids are all just like, oh, do you know anyone in this one? Do you know anyone in this one? Do you know anyone who worked on this one? No.
Yeah. And she was good for most of the movie. And then you get to the end where they're all resolving everything that they went through, and they're talking. And she's like, can we leave? I was like, no, the part I worked on is 5 minutes from now. Sit still.
Oh,
Like, there's too much talking. Like, yeah, I know. They're resolving all of their problems.
Brilliant. All right. So who wants to share their screen?
Oh, yeah, I guess someone has to. I feel like
yeah.
Doug's is more interesting.
Well, I've got nothing yet.
I've got nothing yet as well. Do we want some exploration time?
Yeah,
here,
I want to grab some.
share.
I want to grab some assets.
That sounds good.
Grab some what? I'm sorry?
Grab some assets for things.
Here's After Effects.
See, so Popeye, I could imagine maybe being rebooted with like, the energy of like black and white Robert Pattinson in a.
Like Lighthouse? Yeah, and the Lighthouse. I'm all for this.
Like, he's got no family. He's got, defined by one of his physical traits. It's really a cruel nickname that he does not like to go by. I actually want to. I'm going to research really quickly if Popeye has a full name.
Isn't it
Popeye
the Sailor Man?
Well, yeah.
I don't think it's like Chuck E. Cheese, where it's like Charles Entertainment Cheese,
which is just remarkable. Again.
Yeah, it really is. It's the greatest discovery of humankind.
Is it Charles Entertainment Cheese?
Yeah, the E stands for entertainment, so his name is Charles Entertainment Cheese. Greatest of all the cheeses.
Captain Crunch's real name is Captain Horatio Magellan Crunch.
Based on just now, or like
based on a canon that maybe I was lied to about? I don't know, but.
We just got confirmation that Doug is working on the Captain Crunch movie, being created to compete against Jerry Seinfeld's Pop-Tarts movie.
Well, it's
just called Captain,
Yeah, it's actually called Captain Horatio, and then you actually reveal at the end of the movie he gets the Crunch moniker, and you go, "Oh, this whole time."
Ooh,
yeah, you keep it a secret from the press. And somehow people still go see Captain Horatio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you reveal it.
We did it.
All right. I gotta think. What am I gonna do?
Now I vaguely remember Popeye comics, but I'm here on the Wikipedia page, and I thought I would just share with you all. So the fictional character and story. Originally, Popeye got luck from rubbing the head of a wiffle hen.
As you do.
Also strength from eating spinach.
See,
that I relate to.
Our parents always told us never rub a wiffle hen.
No.
That's how they always talk about the spinach, but they never talk about the wiffle hen.
It's because it's bad luck, in to most people in the world.
Yeah.
There is no absolute sense of continuity in the stories. And Popeye seems bereft of manners and uneducated, yet he often comes up with solutions to problems that seem insurmountable to the police or scientific community. He has displayed Sherlock Holmes-like investigative prowess, scientific ingenuity, and successful diplomatic arguments.
What?
His pipe also proves to be highly versatile. Among other things, it has served as a cutting torch, a jet engine, propeller, periscope, musical instrument, and a whistle on which he produces his trademark toot.
I thought he just sailed around.
There was so much more backstory than I knew.
Than I needed for Popeye.
Yeah, I thought this guy was just sailing around on his ship, fighting Bluto, saving olive oil. Wasn't that like...
Now I want to see the original movie to figure out where he got his ugg.
Right, that's...
Oh, a man can't just be born with a laugh?
Nope.
Oh, no. No, that's a weathered laugh. There's a story.
Yeah.
That's a weathered laugh.
That's
tells the tale of.
My big problem with prequel things is that let's put everything we know about this character into 1 hour-and-a-half long movie. Like everything you know about them happened in this 1-2 day span of their life. Like
it's like the bad Lost episodes. How did Jack get his tattoos? Like I don't think we need the origin of that.
My biggest offender is the Solo movie. In that movie, they're like, "Oh, here's the gun he got. The name Solo. Oh, I'm by myself. Solo it is. Really? So his name's probably like Han Smith, and some guy was just like, "We're going to call you Solo instead," and he's like, "I guess I'll be that now."
Can I tell you that movie was? I'm sorry. You're gonna bring up Solo, then let's do it. All the same problems you had with it. Also, it's that movie was like, I was so excited for it when Lord and Miller were on it, and even when Ron Howard comes on it, I'm like, okay, whatever. That Howard is Ron Howard.
I like Ron
Howard. Then it turns out to be like the most fan servicey thing. It was like so smug and proud of itself that like, oh look, we're doing the Kessel Run. Look at us. Like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, do more with this character. You got a killer cast. You have a killer character. I got too passionate about this. I'm gonna calm down and work on my Teletubbies.
I don't think you have to calm down. I think go all in. I'm with you. That's I mean, it's the same. Like every prequel does that. Maybe not every prequel. I'm watching the Lord of the Rings, the Rings of Power, and I don't know a lot about Lord of the Rings, so maybe it's doing it, but with the limited stuff that I know about it, I feel like it's not doing that. Like, and here's how they got this, and here's how they got that.
Yeah, I hear it's really good.
Yeah,
I have several friends working on it.
I'm enjoying it.
I have just pulled up Dolly, just out of curiosity to see.
Surprise!
To see what I might find. So here's my prompt, everyone. I might need help with this. We've got a vintage photograph of a bald sailor in a white uniform with large biceps and an anchor tattoo with a pipe. That's the most baseline version of it I can imagine. It looks like it interpreted as with an anchor, and not necessarily an anchor tattoo.
Interesting.
So maybe I could put a comma in here or something like that. I just want a nice face that goes with this.
All right, let's see. I got some assets. What am I gonna do?
I do only have 6 credits left, Jason. Oh man, why did I broadcast today? All right,
All right. I'm kind of feeling like I might not even go into cinema for this. Let's see what I can do with just our old friend After Effects.
All right, Doug, let me know if you want me to pull up, or either of you, let me know if you want me to pull up your screens.
I'm just meticulously. I'm pursuing, first off, like trying to match the original logo, and then I'm gonna spice it up. I'm gonna marvel it up a little bit in various ways. But I don't really have a plan here. I don't know when I have ever had a plan.
All right, I'm gonna use up the rest of my credits on this. We're just gonna see what we get, and if I get something, I'll put it as like a light backdrop behind my title text. Sort of like a wrestler, the wrestler kind of a poster or something. Ooh, interesting.
Ooh.
Oh, all
okay,
right.
I kind of dig. Oh man.
I dig that for that second guy to the left. A little bit, but maybe not. Maybe not for Popeye. But the idea of doing you could do like a wanted ad or something.
Oh, a wanted Popeye?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess that's not really part of the storytelling.
Wanted for piracy. I kind
sailing.
I kind of like
what about
this
this?
dude.
What if Popeye? That's not his name. What if he's a serial killer and Popeye's his moniker? That's what they.
This is
He's a Popeye killer.
This is the plot of Netflix's Sandman now in.
Yeah. I think we're on. He's popping people's eyes. That's how he gets Popeye.
Wow.
I kind of dig this one, and it's funny because he's got a teeny bit of Robin Williams' Popeye going on here.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna maybe use this as a little bit of inspiration. So let's save this as Popeye Dolly.
All right. What do I got here?
I'm going to reveal what you're working on, Seth.
Yeah, it's nothing to write home about.
Well, you're sliding the text along a path, which is something that I'm pretty sure I need to remind myself how to do.
Yeah, you just type some text and then you draw a path on it, and then you go down to text and path options and select the mask, and then you can go through the nightmare of figuring out how
Why it's great?
exactly, how to align the text and, or not align the text, but the kerning is like what is the absolute nightmare right now.
Yeah. It is fun when you get to go in and do the custom kerning on each thing.
Each one. I'm sure there's a much simpler way to do this, and I can't wait for the chat to tell me what it is, because Michael's not here.
Right. That's the best part, where it's like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing.
Oh, that's what this show is. Doug, how are you? Speaking of what we're doing, what are you doing?
What am I doing? I can share my screen. I have. Let's see. Start sharing. I've downloaded a Powerpuff Girls logo, and I'm just getting it in Illustrator so that I can then.
Oh, you're doing this all proper.
Nice.
I didn't realize how kind of cool that logo is already.
Oh yeah.
It's surprisingly. I think their character shapes are always so round that I kind of ignore how italic and straight that looks.
Are you gonna make it steel or reflective?
Oh, you know it.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what's up. I was gonna try and find a way to do this. Let's see. Do I want to? I guess I can break this up the real way. So I don't have Overlord on my machine at the moment. You guys can see the way that I do things the long way. I want like 1, 2, 3. I end up just making a bunch of layers like this and going in and saying, I want you and you and you. And I find them. I say, you go in this layer. I turn that off. So this is the long way to do it when you don't have Overlord.
Now, Sarah Gibson in the chat is asking if anyone remembers the Powerpuff Girls cereal that had Pop Rocks in it.
Oh man,
no?
That's hard.
Wow, that's that would be an interesting experience, I would have to say.
My wife and I make ice cream. Well, my wife makes ice cream, and I come up with flavors for ice cream, and that's probably more accurate. And we wanted to make a soda ice cream once, and so we got what's the soda maker thing?
Oh, the Soda Stream.
We got a Soda Stream, like Coke flavor, and we put Pop Rocks in it. And it wasn't as successful as we wanted to because the Pop Rocks actually ruined it. But we had like sort of pseudo carbonated Pop Rocks ice cream.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I was afraid that that would have Diet Coke and Mentos into something horrible.
Yeah, it sounds like how Homer blows up the candy convention in that episode.
Right.
Yeah, in case.
And then we had to move because we blew up our house.
But we got a lovely little place right now.
Yeah, we had a lovely little hole in the wall place we live in. All right, I think this is good. I guess I'll make you your own thing.
So explain to us non-Illustrator folk what you're up to right now.
Yeah, for real.
Sure. So I should caveat all of this with I am not great at Illustrator. I've learned basic things in Illustrator.
Is anyone?
And, I get that there's people that I know who are incredible at Illustrator, incredibly fast. And then I ask them something and they're like, oh, I don't know. but you're so good at what you do. Like, I don't know. So what I'm doing right now is I have this vector file that I found of the logo. And I don't need this one. And I want to bring this into After Effects and split up all the layers. And there's a plugin called Overlord, which is great for this. I do not have Overlord. So I tend to do things brute force when I don't have the things that I need. And so what I'm doing is taking this and splitting up into layers. So like this will be the layer. This will be the Powerpuff layer. This will be girls. These will be stars. This will be backplate and border. And so now when I save this file, I can bring this into After Effects as a comp, and all of these will be their own thing. So then I have a lot of control to bevel the differently than I would bevel the Powerpuff Girls or whatever it is. So if I go here, let's go into here, and bring this in again, I could say choose composition, and now I've got all my layers in here. So I can play with each one of these on their own.
Nice.
Yeah. And so that's kind of like my brute force way of doing it. And depending on the way I bring it in, I did layer size. So the anchor point is in the center of all of these things. And I might go in and like split out each star individually if I wanted them to shine differently. But if I did that, I would honestly just, duplicate the layer, mask it out real quick. Because again, I tend to be lazy and brute force things.
I think that's an all right way to do it. I mean, the lasers in that Lightyear thing are a good example of something that if you computationally try to deal with volumetrics and really simulating something like that, it may not look nearly as good as if you just tried like brute forcing a fast-forwarded smoke curl into there.
Yeah, exactly. So let's see. So Powerpuff, I got to cut out the circles in there.
Excellent. Seth, do you want to let me know if you are at any stage you want to share anything?
I mean, you can see what I'm doing. I'm just right now still in the stages of imitate. Oh yeah, I can share it. I forgot.
I put the power in their hands is how I'm going to spin this.
Oh boy, now you're gonna see me like wander around to be like, all right, let me find the Pathfinder on here. Where's the thing?
That's all I'm doing is wondering. I am just.
That's a pretty faithful recreation there.
Oh.
Hey.
Well, let me get rid of the original. Sorry.
That's
yeah.
perfect. That's perfect.
Sure. I'm about to sample this color here. I can't remember where I was. Here we go. Ooh.
I decided just out of curiosity to bring my image of Popeye into Photoshop. And they've got those new neural filter plugins, which I've not really played with yet. But if you check on the Smart Portrait, I can do things like grab like a dial for happiness and let it... Ooh! I guess that's happier. What would happen if I had made him unhappy? Oh, yeah, now he's more mad. Now he looks like... I won't say. Let's see. Facial age. Let's see what happens if we age this character up. Okay, so here is the stage we would meet them in the movie, right? And then back here is when you would flash back to their young, like, first days in the military.
Right.
Or the Navy, as it were. I assume... Is Popeye just a generic sailor, or is he a member of any... I mean, he's a sailor. He's a sailorman.
I believe he is a sailor man.
A sailorman of the sailormen.
Yeah. Yes, of the famous sailorman.
Okay, surprise, anger. What if I turn down the anger? Okay, that's a little softer. Head direction? Oh, no, thank you. On the head direction. I kind of like, oh, no. Why is your eye messed up? Is it from the facial age? I didn't think so. Wait, revert to the standard, and then let me try the age down a little bit. I like that, all right. Oh, is that me again? Is my mic making all this stuff?
I don't know if it's Doug or me. Skype is Skype is really trying to like.
Hold on, let me mute and let me know. Let's see, can I mute?
Oh, we don't want to mute Doug on our show.
Can't mute Doug.
Did it go away?
Did.
Oh, I think my air just turned down. It's right behind me.
Oh, and it's like, what is
all
this?
Good. Yeah, Skype is trying to auto balance Doug's air conditioning to make sure that it is represented on the stream.
I can have it
as well
turned off, and I can start slowly glistening over the course of.
No, leave your AC on. That's the VFX and chill promise. Is that
right?
The promise?
The AC. It was cooler this morning, hence like the hat and the sweater, and now it's warmed up a little bit. So I could take the hat off, but I feel like I've committed. So for continuity's sake, I want to keep the hat on. You know, people don't show up in 20 minutes and be like, "Whoa, what happened?"
So something very this happens on the show all the time, but something simple that I always forget how to do. If I'm trying to create this like puff paint look on these flat objects, what's the like the
give yourself a little CC blobalize.
Ooh, blobalize.
I like a blobalize. That might not be the exact one you're looking for, but there's
it might get us started. I didn't know if there was a straightforward processor, not intensive way to.
I mean, you could use light sweep with a really wide edge lighting.
Oh,
thing.
if we're doing that, I could try Dino Shader. I don't know if that's.
Oh yeah, try your Dino Shader. Dino Shader is something
talked
about
what?
in the.
It worked just fine.
Look at it.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, enjoy Elliot Worley's Dino Feast and also Ava Worley's Dino Feast. It was Superlion. I was
one that I really like is CC Glass, which gives you a nice bubbly kind of look.
CC Plastic also was one that Hashi uses all the time, I think, or maybe not.
Both glass and plastic can do some interesting kind of displacement mixed with some light shading kind of effects.
Does plastic do the displacement on it?
Or does it just kind of remember now?
Because glass will do the displacement of your actual of your shape.
Yeah, it actually looks real nice. It actually did it rather quickly too.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah, and the cool thing with glass is you can plug in different bump maps into it, so you can really play with what you're doing. I feel like I've said this before. I like using sort of the default bin and After Effects for 20 years plugins on these big expensive movies, and I've definitely used CC Glass on things before, just because I can and I enjoy doing it.
It's also very much the Hashi way as well.
If you can do it in After Effects, why wouldn't you?
Right? Yeah.
That's
why
how
would
I feel about it?
Any other way?
Yeah. Let's not stand on ceremony.
That was a weird sound that came out of myself.
All right. I'm going to. I don't know where I'm going with this yet. I have this idea of like a 3D vintage photo that you're flying into. So more of like a I don't know. Kind of the we had when we had Penny on the show. What was the Western show? They did some cool.
The one with Jonathan Majors. I don't remember what that was called.
Well, I'm going to try to do some kind of converting my Popeye into a 3D model. Doug, do you want to share anything that you're working on? This is the call on random students and make them
Let's see, did that
share their work.
Share anything? There we go.
There we go.
So not gritty, but we're getting shiny.
Ooh, we are getting. That's a lot more depth and production value going on.
Ooh.
Right? I mean, look at what it was before. So we got the border's got to have a little thing, and then we'll get our glows and other things on there to really metal this up. I think the back plate's going to need something to it, but right now this whole thing. Oh, look at that! My whole system just made it. Bevel alpha, and some light sweeps.
Ooh, that's a good one.
So could I bring this into cinema and make like this gorgeous metal material? Sure, I could. But do we need to? Really?
I'm going to quickly, just out of curiosity, see what happens if I try using the Avatar SDK. I assume that's software development kit here, but I'm going to try their 3D avatar generator with this grizzled sailor and to see what they look like. It's always an interesting interpretation of the character. I thought this would be faster. Oh, there it goes. Here we go. All right, here it comes. Here it comes, and All right, let's see. Oh, look at that. They're
Perfect.
alive. Ooh, that looks so much more terrible than I had hoped. Oh, this is not pleasing. This is the what we've used to make Mixamy versions of ourselves, the Mixamo Seth and the like. So instead of this, I'm going to go with a different approach to this, where I'm going to use a displacement map and the original photo and try to come up with something instead. So at any point, either of you feel free to interrupt me, because I'm just goofing off here.
Let's see. So right now, am I still sharing my screen? Oh yeah, my screen's still sharing, it looks like. Let's soft light this back on top. What I want to do. That what I want? Not really. All right. So here we go. Dumb question for the group to help.
No dumb questions here on the chill.
So I have a gradient ramp. I'm trying to do this all in one layer. There's a way to composite this gradient ramp on top and just layer. CC Composite will take my original thing and composite that on top. What's the effect to take like the gradient ramp and composite that on? So see, I have this gradient ramp here.
Got it.
But I want this guy to be like a soft light.
Oh, what you need there is the universe gradient ramp, because it has blending modes.
Oh.
Let's see. I'm trying to think of what you would do to preserve what is there already and do this on top.
Well, I have the gradient ramp right here. If it works, oh boy, that's.
It's got. Oh, that's interesting. I'm gonna.
That. It could be that my machine's like, I can't get connected to Universe right now, so you can't use it.
Oh yeah, we're working on the.
Yeah, so that might be what's going on with that.
All right. So so maybe not so much on that one.
That's all right. I can do it. Once again, the brute force way.
Hey, if you can do it with brute force, why have a real solution?
Any other way. You just kind of soft light it. There you go. That's all I wanted. A little bit of a gradient there. But I know there's a way to do it, right? Isn't there a way like it gets sandwiched between two effects or something? I could be.
I mean, on the same layer, I can't quite remember. I mean, there's CC Composite, which will put the original back on top with a different blending mode and some stuff like that. But I'm striking a blank. If anyone knows what we're talking about, let us know.
I could be making it up too. I'm totally willing to admit that I could be making it up.
Now, I'm sort of keeping an eye on the chat here best I can over here. It looks like aerospacenews.com is asking about whether or not there are procedural ways to cause particles to realistically interact with OBJs. So, specifically for illustrating airflow around wings. So that is an interesting one.
First, is there any news in the world of aerospace that they could tell us about?
Yeah, what's new?
What's the
word over at aerospacenews.com?
I'd love to know. What do we think the news could be?
New wing. Left design complete. Right is on its way.
This joke's going great. I love when I tee up a good joke on this show and it goes somewhere great. No, I'm sorry. Let's actually answer their question.
So an airflow. So I would imagine, I'm just spitballing here, that the goal is to show some actual interaction with a 3D model. And right now, there aren't specifically things like that. I could show you the closest thing that I know, which is, just one second, let me share here. Wait, I'm not sharing my thing yet. And Now I think I am sharing my screen. All right, so I'm going to add a black solid. We're going to throw in particular. And this is a sort of workaround that I have tried with this kind of effect before. I don't know how interactively 3D it needs to be. Aerospace News, let me know how 3D this camera move is, or if it's just supposed to look like one of those wind tunnel videos where you have particles and they go zoom around the contours of something. Because if that's the case, there's a different way I would go about approaching this. But yeah, nothing like a real-time simulation of interacting when it hits the other object per se. Not yet. Like you want to be in a simulator program once you get to that stage.
Yeah.
All right, let's get rid of.
That's my I've been paying attention sound.
Yeah. Mine is amazing, I think. I say that a lot on the stream.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
Or wonderful. Wonderful.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Like it's the long pause and then the wonderful.
Sit on this guy.
Let's see.
Let's get I'm going to be using a lot of CC glass on this and light sweeps.
All right, so let's see what you got over there. Whoops. I don't know what buttons I've assigned to what. There we go. Ooh. Dang. Someone should snatch up this guy. Look how quickly this title design's coming together.
I know, right?
Oh boy. Yeah, don't. Let's see. What do you want to throw on top of this thing?
I mean, some texture would be fun. Just some like banged up. Oh yeah, I was going to ask that about Lightyear. How much of the imperfection texture was there versus you had to enhance per shot?
We had to make all of those textures ourselves.
What?
Pixar did not provide us with any textures or materials.
Oh wow, really?
That stuff. Yeah, we asked about it. But their system is just, they use this proprietary system to texture their stuff. There is no way it would ever transfer over to us.
Oh wow.
So yeah, we built all that stuff from scratch.
That is fascinating.
Yeah, which is, part of the we're going to have to do this as well as Pixar does. And I would never get anything as well as Pixar did, but I think it stands with the movie and doesn't feel wildly out of place, Yeah.
Mm.
Let's see. Do I have any textures? I don't have any textures readily available to me. So
let's see. I can share my screen for a teeny bit if you want to try to hunt any down.
Sure. Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to hopefully. Whoops. There we go. So I'm going completely off script just to do something random here. I'm going to particular. I'm using a sphere emitter, which I'm going to make the emitter size smaller, but I like it. I like that it's a sphere. And I'm also going to make it a directional emitter. The directional spread I will have be 0 because I want it to just be a stream of particles going in one direction. So in this case, let's look at what this looks like if I add a camera to my scene and kind of rotate around to the up and above it a little bit. My computer's thinking a whole lot here. Perhaps broadcasting and opening 2 versions of Cinema 4D while broadcasting was a poor idea. You know what? Why am I doing this out here? I'm going to try just diving into the particular designer window. So hopefully that works out. Oh, I just muted Doug because we were getting some more.
Take that, Doug.
Oh
PC.
no! Oh, hold on.
All right. So here we are in the designer window. And what's nice about the designer window is it's a little bit more of a a quick interactive way to see what something like this looks like. So here's the motion of this. It's a directional one, and let me turn up the velocity.
Better mute Doug again.
Oh, here we go. I'm going to mute Doug. And then, so we've got this little thing right here. I can do that. All right. Doug is unmuted now. Oops.
All right. I'm back.
All right. We're back. And your video feed is back too, I think. Yeah, perfect.
All right.
All right. So here's sort of, a rudimentary wind tunnel setup. So you just, a spherical emitter. That way there's some volume to the shape, because if the if you're not emitting from a sphere of some sort, then you'll just get a straight line of particles, which is a little bit too much. So I'm going to make the sphere a little bit bigger and do something like that. Now, there are things that you can do in After Effects, or in particular with fields. And one would be something like a spherical field, which I can visualize here. So under fields, I can go to... I will turn up the strength of this spherical field, and I'm going to push it back in Z so you can see what's happening with it. So right now, this is a little field that has a radius that you can adjust that disrupts the particle flow. Now, at 100%, it completely moves the particles out of the way for it. But if you do something like this with a nicely feathered radius, basically the particles kind of creep around it. And that is a little bit more similar to what to a controllable, look of one of these wind tunnel kind of things. You could turn up the radius, and so the things have something wider to go around. And obviously you would do all your standard stuff, like grab some smoky particles or something like that. And then if you had an airplane or something like that, you could put one of these spherical fields on each of the wings and size it to be displacing them. It's sort of like using a dummy object in Cinema 4D to be your cloth collider or something like that, so it doesn't have to interact with all of the geometry. Because in the end, particular is just supposed to be a very fast particle renderer. It's not loving this setup though, and I don't know why. So I'm going to see if maybe I should switch over to the GPU instead of the CPU right now, since we're broadcasting. Is that faster?
I don't know.
There we go. Anyway, that's one way to do it, and then I'll be back with another in a second. Seth, are you sharing your screen there?
I am. I'm just working on this logo here.
Very nice.
Your feed is frozen.
Oh, yeah. Wait.
Oh, there it is. Wait, it came back. So, this is my gritty reboot of Teletubbies.
You did it. You did it.
Perfect.
Did it.
Wow.
Let's just drop my new logo that is basically just a worse version of the logo with CC glass.
That is fantastic.
On top of it.
The gritty reboot of the Teletubbies. You never disappoint.
I'll just do this. Let's say.
Oh boy.
Reboot.
Let's see. The hat's coming off now. Here we go.
And let's obviously do
We gotta
that
get serious.
in Euro style, which is not on this computer. Oh no!
What?
Uh-oh.
That was probably a discipline thing, you know?
Probably is. It'll have to be Albertus then. That's the only other option.
Or Bank Gothic, man.
Or Bank Gothic. Do I even have Bank Gothic on here?
Where would
together?
Batman would not be forever without it.
I don't have Bank Gothic. Batman is going to have to be never. Batman never.
Batman never.
Let's do it in the Aliens font.
Never.
There we go.
Alien. The gritty reboot. See, so do you think if we post this, Gritty would retweet this? I feel like...
I mean,
There's a very good chance.
There's a better than none.
Yeah.
So, aerospacenews.com. What you could do, you're welcome to give me your name too if I've missed it. I'm sorry. But the field, you could attach to a null, and you could attach a null to whatever null was controlling your object. I've done some stuff like that before. I think we did on a Ghostbusters episode a while ago or something. Ooh, that's a good font you got going there, Seth.
I am thinking I have another idea for it. Friday the 13th font. You can always go with that. But actually, there's one that I've been using a ton for this kind of moment, and it's not that one. I'm curious where you guys, like, for like Thor movies and stuff, where do you guys source like what are currently like the cornball like 90s fonts? How do you do the stuff that doesn't look like DeFont, like you just went on DeFont and got typefaces?
Yeah, it's a fun thing. We can't go on DeFont, like just legally, like we can't go on DeFont and grab typefaces, just because there's no line of ownership on DeFont. Like someone puts something on there and you can download it. So we try and use the Adobe fonts or my font or someplace where there's a receipt of we have the rights, we bought this thing, we can use this font. So yeah, we actually can't go on DeFont. But yeah, it's just I will admit I'm terrible with fonts. I have like 3 fonts that I'll use all the time, and then that's it. And so I leave it to people who are more talented than myself to be like, oh, this is that exact font, or this is whatever it is. I'm like, all right, cool. Let's do that one then. Yeah, I'm no good at fonts, which is I think a weak spot of mine. When I was in school, it was one of those things where I had the option to take a type class, and I was like, who needs type? I'm going to make things move. And and now I'm like, I wish I actually had some formal training in typography.
I mean,
I feel
Hashi does just fine not caring about. No, I'm kidding.
I am unaware of fonts.
It's part of his colorblindness. He's not able to see difference in type either.
Let's see. I am.
We love ableist jokes here on the show. We're not at all. I'm kidding. We don't really. I'm sorry.
I'm curious to see if I can stream my phone somehow into the broadcast in some way. I don't know if I can.
On a Mac, I could show you how.
I'm just trying to figure out how to make it.
Windows or Mac?
Full screen mode.
Are you in a Mac or Windows?
No, I'm on Windows here.
Yeah, that's right.
Full screen mode. Nope, that didn't do it. I have this tiny little. I can show you. There's my phone. Which I know I could scale up in OBS, but it feels like this software should be doing something better for me than this. All right, let's see. Original. Leave full screen mode and just get bigger. Why are you being so small? Display settings. View mode. Okay. Stretch. Here we go. So this is going to be silly, but I'm going to try to do a little bringing things to life moment here. All right. So this is a. Oh man. Let's see.
We got to go into Skype and figure out some settings.
We do got to figure out.
Version of Skype is really screwing us over now.
So I'm probably broadcasting like how to directly access my phone right now. I think I just did.
Oh.
So
no.
This is called Avatarify. This is an app where you load in an image and then once you fit your face to it, Hey, what's up? This is kind of live. And like, there's a limited, space that it works, but right around here, it's decent. So I'm gonna see if I can make him like breathing or something like that. Let's see. And I know it's stuck with the mouth open.
Uh-oh.
Oh, why? Let's see. We'll go back to. Let's see what other filters do I have in here. Ha ha ha! All right.
What am I?
Some very silly business going on here.
Silly business. We're in the point of the show where I'm like, what am I doing?
This is the danger portion of the
You're
show.
like,
where
what am I working? What am I doing? I'm working really hard on whatever it is.
I'm working real hard on something real stupid.
We have just crossed into the last half hour of the show. I bet you.
That's where I'm supposed to show like, oh, I did this cool thing, and then.
Oh no, we never get there. We
No.
We like to leave people with that disappointed feeling, and why did I waste 2 hours of my day? Which is, I think that's the strategy for making people come back week after week.
100%.
Right. Yeah, that sounds about right. Let's do.
All right. Let's see. So, aerospace news. I'm not going to demonstrate it here, but motion paths in particular would be a great way to handle something that you had a custom thing that you wanted to work. And beyond that, if you really want to show like the forces at work with a helicopter blade, at that point you need to be in a crazier simulation. Unless you just want to use the fluid dynamics within After Effects or within Particular to fake it, which you could always do. So check out videos on the fluid dynamics in particular and on motion paths in particular. Motion path is where you can basically define the exact path via the animation and keyframes of a light. So it'll follow a specific path and like swirl around or go over a wing or whatever.
Well, that's cool. All right, I'm trying to. Do I have a thing? I don't really feel like I have any kind of anything. Just one of those. We're trying our best, everyone.
We are. I don't even know what my plan was. I think I wanted to have this really ghosty looking slow zoom thing with this character. Let's see, how long should my title be? I'm going to say 6 seconds. Let's trim that down. So I just wanted like a slow zoom. This looks a little bit like a mugshot or something like that. Maybe there'd be a little light in here. I know it's a 3D layer, but it'll give me a fake kind of vignette look. Turn the angle down kind of like this. Feather it out a little bit more. Turn up the intensity, maybe widen it. Okay, so here's a little slow push in toward this character. So that can be a base layer for something. And then maybe we'll just use displacement maps to make them move instead of trying to use my low quality footage. Because I have a feeling that's going to look bad. I don't know if it got saved or not either. Oh, I forgot to save it too. All right, so now my idea is to try to find my... somewhere I've got a directory from way back when, from, I think, Riot Gear? Yeah. Where we've got some grungy textures. I'm going to grab the grayscale versions of a couple of these. And, some of these kind of things are built into some of the Red Giant plugins, so I should have maybe tried some of those too. But here's my plan. I'm going to bring in a handful of 3D cards like this. I'll just make them semi-transparent for just a moment. And if we go to a view like this, I'm going to scoot some way back so there's sort of like the wall, and then I'll put some others in here that are maybe different ones of these gritty textures. And then let's try some different blending modes with these, or some keying modes. So on this front one, I could do something like an extract. And what I want to do here is I want to really key out all the... Maybe we'll start with the darkest stuff first. We'll do a really soft key to key out a bunch of dark stuff. And now look what you're getting. You're getting this kind of cool... it's like you're just leaving the smudges on the glass bit through there. And if you do that and you get, let me hide that other layer. You get this little grungy layer with just the brightest spots of it. Now, when you're moving through 3D, you have some slight, dust and debris around them. And, I'm just going to work with that. I'm going to duplicate this layer and bring one back in space. A little bit more. Let's look at this view so I can move one forward like that. It'll also kind of move out of the light, which is interesting, since I've got the light in here. Reverse the direction of that. I promise I had some plan here to why this is going to look really cool. But either of you, let me know when you want to grab the screen, because this is not super interesting, but
what are you up to over there, Doug?
Let's see. Let me pull a thing into a thing first, and then.
All right. As soon as you do, just let me know, and we'll pop over.
Sure.
You can look at mine if you want. I think I'm done. Actually, I'm not. I should probably add one extra little circle down here that look something. This. And
honestly, I need to do a little color correct on this thing.
There we go. Now it's done.
I think you nailed it, man.
I think so too, right?
Yeah, I think mine's going to be a disappointment. Okay, let's share. You can watch me. Let's do that. And I'm telling you guys, you gotta. Let's desaturate this a little bit. Put a little curves on here. Yeah, I'm not. I don't think I really got to a place that I feel totally good about on this stuff. But you know what?
Hey, that's one of the. That's part of life. That's part of doing VFX and title design. Someone was asking if your crew worked on She-Hulk, but Doug may not be able to answer either way. I don't know.
I can answer that we did not work on She-Hulk.
Excellent.
Yeah. But those titles are fun. I like what they're doing on She-Hulk.
I don't know what they're doing on She-Hulk. I think I saw the first 2 episodes. Oh, it's the courtroom sketch.
Yeah, I think the courtroom sketches
thing. That's a pretty nifty effect.
Yeah, I like all the motion that they have. Like the strokes are always forming. There's something that's always happening. I think it's really cool.
I'm always curious about how you do something like that, because you guys did something pretty similar with the Marvel title, where I think specifically like Steve Rogers is really clearly drawn up with like lines and fills and things like that, but you created them in post, right?
Yeah,
like worked backwards.
Yeah, so that was the Steve Rogers one. I think we have a video of it on our site somewhere. We created this very elaborate paint on reveal mat that we have. So it's really elaborate one that was unique to each character. So it would like go around his shield or around the star or whatever it was. And that's revealing 4 or 5 different levels of detail of paint. And all of them are offset by like 2 or 3 frames. So it feels like it's building on and growing. And then that gets projected onto the Steve Rogers model. And then you kind of get this paint on in 3D space effect.
That's pretty cool. And did how did you generate the drawing pattern on that stuff? Was it like captured somehow?
No, so we did a few things. One, to get the painting effect on there, it's a plugin that I think it does one thing really well, which is making paint called Alien Skin. And I don't know if they've updated it in like 15 years. But you can get some really good like oil paint effects. And the thing I like about it is that somehow it knows how to follow what the lines would be. So like on his shield, it wouldn't be like random cross-hatch paint effects. It would be like a curved line that went around the shield. And there's a ton of settings on that. So we use that. And then for the actual, we also had a stroke, like a line stroke that came on first that got filled in. That was something that we drew that by hand and then did a very elaborate kind of reveal with mask wipes on that stroke. And then the painting effect was we created a bunch of mats of just brush strokes, just like black and white brush strokes that we used, layered them up, 100 times in different positions and like warping them so they would reveal around the shield properly. And just kind of combined all that stuff together.
It looks great. And it's funny because I've tried procedural attempts at things like that, and they're pretty hard to do successfully. So yeah, definitely hats off to what you were able to achieve with that one.
Thank you. Yeah, it's definitely a tricky thing because I think it's something that I like about the She-Hulk one. It's really easy to put just a paint stroke reveal and call it a day. And then kind of be done like, oh, it reveals like paint, but it's the extra detail of it's not just one stroke, it's 5 different strokes at varying level of detail.
Yeah.
And I see some of that in the She-Hulk one, and maybe I'm just lying to myself. I don't know, but I feel like I see that in the She-Hulk one. And then also that it's constantly moving. Like there's no static frame. There's always in the She-Hulk one, there's something that's painting on or drawing or like a global texture that's always evolving. So it's cool. They've managed to bring a lot of energy into something and depth. I think they're all kind of offset in space to bring a lot of energy to a thing that could be very flat, right? And kind of boring, but they've brought a lot of energy to it.
That is it's a great great look. Feel free to check those out. And I could probably in the background here figure out who did those, or actually chat. Get on that. Find out.
Yeah, who did those, chat?
Find out who did those. Thank you. All right.
I'm gonna cheat and put looks on here. That's what I'm gonna do.
That I just threw retrograde on top of mine, which is I've now put some focus stuff going on with the camera here, and some kind of film grainy look. I'm trying to go for a sort of like a like you're moving into a daguerreotype kind of thing. So as you push forward in 3D, I've got the simulated grain that's moving around and the hair and stuff. But if you turn off my retrograde effect, what you have are these like 3D bits and pieces of the imperfections and stuff. And they're all kind of being lit by the spotlight. I wonder if I ditch the spotlight and just leave this as simple 3D layers to interact, if that actually works better. And then add all of my vignettes and stuff afterward to this. All right, now I'm getting a little bit of the like frosty glass layered up kind of thing. But yeah, this is rough. This is really rough. I'm going to try to do all the last minute panic parts right here.
Yeah, right. Like, oh, what's this?
Okay, I can toss on a crazier than life vignette in there, and that'll make it kind of swimmy like that. Instead of using the After Effects depth of field, how much is that setting me back on the speed of this render? Probably a lot, right? Oh yeah, a lot.
Yeah, I need some kind of background. That's what I need on this thing.
All right, I'm going to add, I don't use this often, but it's an effect called Noir by Universe. And basically it forces stuff to black and white, but it has some cool vignette patterns that I kind of want. I'm going to try the street light one, maybe? Venetian Abstract.
Let's do, all right.
I'm not quite doing what I want. Ooh, I know. How about CC Spotlight, everyone?
Yeah.
There we go. Okay. Oh, man. Yeah, see, again, CC Spotlight wins. I'm going to turn down the height a lot so it's more like a streak. Oh, yeah. See, this is... Look at the difference a little CC Spotlight makes. And then... Let's see, I'll put the light up here. I'm kind of just trying to base it a little bit on the direction of the lighting on Popeye there. And then, what do I always say about drop shadow? It's one of the most underrated things you could use.
Is it more drop shadow?
More drop shadow. Boom! Look at that. It's using native drop shadow, even though this is a 3D layer. How mad does that make everyone? But what's cool is that I just blur it out a lot, and now you can't really resolve the parallax very well. You just get the impression that Popeye is back here stewing over olive oil being...
Stewing over olive oil? That sounds delicious.
Wow, it's so many spinach and oil and soups.
Oh my. Spinach and oil and soups, oh my.
Yes, chef.
That show is so good.
Oh, that show is too good.
I have wanted to raptorize the entire 20-minute single take episode. That is the only show that I watched the entire episode, watched the rest, I binged the rest, and then found out that chaotic episode was one take. I did not notice in the craft.
It took me half the episode to notice it.
It's so good.
Yeah.
And supposedly, based on what I've read in newspaper articles, which always get stuff right, it's a legit one take. It's not a appearance of a one take.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, that sounds a lot like no CGI to me.
I do worry about that stuff. So it's sort of like, in this case, what you'd be erasing is that someone had to edit some part of it, like an OK Go video that was supposed to be a thing. Which, like, come on, it's hard.
It is hard.
All right, I'm kind of digging something about this. I'm not sure what I'm going for though. Let's see how we got. 11 minutes, really probably 10 minutes.
Story of my life.
I'm going to put you up on screen, Doug, just because that legit looks like a version of that logo that could exist out in the wild. It's almost like you do this for a living.
It really does look awesome, especially once you brought the flares.
It's a little over the top. I think it's probably. I'm not as thrilled with the color on it, but right, that feels like Pokemon. All right, it's got to be. Yeah, let's do something else. What else can we do on this? Let's do a What do I have? Oh, I'm going to save this before I try and do anything crazy. Let's duplicate this guy and do some. Is that me making that noise? Because my air's off now. So
no, it's whenever one of you isn't talking, Skype goes full blast, trying to like turn up and hear something.
I can definitely mute myself because I know when I'll talk. So I'm going to go with that approach for now.
I'm incapable of muting myself. The world must listen to everything, every sound I make.
Let's see. This is getting kind of crazy. Where's my distort amount? Is it just? All right. Let's see what we do to this. Right over. Is it that one? Oh, there we go. Let's tone you down. Nope. What else we want to do to this? I feel like that's a bit over the top right now. You know what this probably needs is something in.
It needs to be in the top corner of a Nerf product box.
I'm going to go here and let's see. I think I probably have sparks or something. There you go.
Actually, I muted you in Skype, FYI, because your air was still coming through Skype. But you can unmute yourself whenever.
All right, let's take some sparks.
I think, unless I permanently muted you in Skype.
Oh, these are like crazy sparks.
Oh yeah, I forgot that you all can hear that too, because I was muting myself from the stream, but not from Skype.
That's what I figured. Sorry, Doug. Keep doing real things.
Oh no, I've real things. Then we get some sparks in here. It's probably what the doctor ordered. We get some sparks right there. Oh, these sparks are already out of focus, so I don't have to do anything crazy. Oh, you know what I want? Yeah, give me this little spark bouncing off of the top of this logo. Here we go.
Oh, that's gonna be. Damn it! Awesome. Look at that.
Happy little accidents. I don't think I need all of you sparks, so I'm going to take just you sparks.
Dang it, Doug! You made something legitimately cool. How dare you? What's your chromatic aberration coming from? How'd you do that?
I did that with universe chromatic aberration.
Now, would you have really done that off the air?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. That's sweet. I want to know if that's really true, because
it is really true. Chromatic aberration, it's a thing that we like. This is more than I would normally ever do, because typically they're like, hey, can you guys tone your stuff down? Yeah. Fine, you don't want something cool, I guess. Yeah, so we would make it way more subtle than that. We'd also put on usually on top of this stuff too is I'll also put on like a half pixel blur just on top of everything. This is already getting kind of soft.
Half pixel blur? How come?
Just because nothing should ever really be sharp. You know, if we're trying to make something that fits in a movie, you're never gonna shoot someone that's like vector sharp, right? So you always want to put like maybe not a half pixel, but a 0.1 pixel just to soften it a little bit. And then because I am like I said, real cheap and dirty, I'll just do like a noise instead of finding like a nice noise. I'll usually just do a noise like this. But again, that's also too sharp. So you'd want to put a little bit of a blur on there as well. Right? And then I got 0.5 blur. And you just kind of soft like that. Oh, I should also...
You're soft lighting it?
Yeah, so I'm soft lighting it. So I'll set this to 50% gray.
Yeah.
So that way you don't get it ever like super dark or super bright. It kind of hangs out in that middle when you put the noise on there.
Yeah.
So you can see you do something like that, but then you'd lower the opacity kind of way down. So it's just a subtle little bit of something. Yeah.
I'm learning that
I want that.
movie stars are just like us.
You're just kind of faking it till we make it.
Doug, I don't know if you know this, but you've made it, and
what?
You can stop faking it now. You can actually do things for real now.
Oh man, every single like new job is like, oh boy, they're gonna figure it out this time. They're really gonna learn.
My goose is cooked.
Yeah, right.
I love that you unmuted for that.
It's always I put on my tie so I can go. Ooh.
Good.
Every job. Let's see. I had other sparks. What do these other sparks look like? Where'd you go, other sparks? I don't know if these are any. There's like tiny little sparks. You guys go this way, and let's make you bigger. And I'm going to put a camera lens blur on these.
What? Camera lens blur, too.
Yeah. And you know what? Let's get crazy. Set that aspect ratio to 0.5 so they kind of feel like they're anamorphic.
That's clever. Look at those. They're beautiful.
There you go. Do they work in context? I don't know. I probably got too many things. Maybe too many things going on. Is there such a thing?
There's no such thing as too many things.
That's good.
Not after our very pleasing to the eyes intro sequence.
I love that intro sequence. I think it's so much fun.
I have veered off the path of gritty reboot, and I think I have landed in like like trailer you would see for a book on YouTube. Like the little narrator saying, born to poor parents, like, read all about it in.
Right.
It does. It looks like this week on Discovery, what Discovery Plus or whatever. It looks like a low grade docu-series.
I can't find the right. I wanted like an enlisting like typewriter, kind of looking thing. But no such luck here. I don't know what I'm getting over here. Undo. And I'm struggling with the Sailorman or Sailorman.
So I've made this. All right. I think I do need to tone this down a little bit because it's hard to read Powerpuff Girls at this point.
Who reads?
Yeah, right. Who reads?
Yeah, who's in the theater right now and doesn't know the name of this movie?
Right? That's what I'm saying. The lens radius, I want. I always forget what setting is it that's going to tone this thing down. I thought it was the distortion amount, but it's not. Edge fall off? No. Just usually what I do is I find a thing I like, and then I forget how to use it, and then I come back in and be like, yeah. And say, but you know what? I think this is, I'm feeling okay about this.
I think that's pretty great.
Yeah.
I'm feeling a little okay. I want to do, let's see, on you, Powerpuff Girls. Look at that. We've taken this thing and turned it into this thing.
That's
well, really, we've taken. No, not even that thing.
We've gone from Nickelodeon to Spy Kids.
If we could work on Spy Kids, that's what I want to do. I want to work on Spy Kids.
That feels like that would be a fun team to be on.
I think that would be a lot of fun to work on Spy Kids. I loved Spy Kids with the thumbs and all that stuff. There you go.
It was wild.
To that. Oh, you know what? I know what it's missing. I don't know if you guys are ready for this.
Ooh, I'm ready. We're ready.
Nope, wrong way. Wrong way.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Boom.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Can't handle it.
It looks kind of phallic when you angle it up that way.
Huh.
And now it's only that, and it's only ever going to be that for me. So never mind. Do what you want. Carry on.
Well done.
Perfect. Let's see. How can we make this? I'm gonna make this worse.
I'm doing a little trick that I actually really like with text. So if you ever have just boring text like this and you just need a little bit more flavor or integration, you can add Universe Heatwave to it. And Heatwave is cool because it'll give you a fractal pattern of both blur and slight distortion. So you don't get any like crisp edges anymore. Now you have kind of this more fading away kind of thing. And on this same text layer, if you wanted to, ahead of even Heatwave, you could have added some fractal noise to the text itself. Put it maybe at a, let me see, you want it bright with a little bit of contrast, and then turn the complexity up of the fractal noise and the scale down. And so you get just a teeny bit of variation in the letters to begin with, like that.
Doug, do you have a Firewatch background?
I do.
That makes me happy. It's my favorite game of all time.
Fun story. Never played it, but I think it's a beautiful game.
Oh, I understand. I have games like that. Have we talked about this on the show? Maybe we have.
I don't know. But yeah, I've never played the game. I just think it's a gorgeous looking game.
It is.
So I think I might be trying to do something too stupid now.
This is VFX and Chill.
Right? It's how can I take all the studio notes and make something kind of dumb with this? Let's see. I don't know. This is a little blur here. At some point, I'm just gonna have to say this is done.
I've decided my gritty reboot is done, and I've uploaded it to the final render Slack. So Michael can do with it as he wishes.
You know what? I think we're at 3:00. Oh no.
Oh yeah, I've got to get out of here.
Oh wow, I was not paying attention.
I was gonna say I just need like 10 minutes, and I think I can animate something.
All right, let's circle up again. Oh wait, where did you go? There you are. Everyone, this was exciting.
Absolutely.
And I love that you'll come on here, Doug, and are willing to try to use an hour and a half to play a silly game with a spinny wheel and turn that into something that flexes your professional muscles. So
yeah, dude, for real. Thank you.
It is amazing. Feel free to send me just a still, exactly as it is right now. Don't do any extra work outside.
Oh man, I already have like 2 keyframes in here, so.
Okay.
I will send a still. I'm probably going to spend 20 minutes to see if I can get something that animates, and then I'll just send a still. Is what I really have.
Either way,
that's the VFX and Chill way.
Yeah.
That's perfect. Well, thank you so much for VFXing and chilling with us, everybody. We will be back next week. I think it's just a regular episode. I'm not positive what we'll dive into, but you can always leave your comments on videos like this of what you would like to see us cover and what effects would be fun to try out. So please always participate in the show in whatever way you can. Leave comments, share them with friends, etc.
Like we're asking for donations. Maybe we should.
Just any little bit. Every little bit
helps. Yeah.
Amazing. Well, thank you, Doug Appleton of Perception. Please check out more of Perception's work on their website, and even better, their YouTube channel, where you can see cool breakdowns of some of the work and get to see the wireframes under the hood and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Our YouTube channel, I think we post that stuff on Instagram and Twitter. We're trying to post as much behind the scenes as we're allowed to. So, yeah, check it out.
Yeah, if you like design, get as many of the designers in your timeline as you can. It's awesome.
Yeah, do it.
Thank you so much, everyone. And let's roll these credits. Oh, those are wrong ones again.
Perfect.
Oh boy.
All right. Well, maybe let's see. What's the button for the?